So I'm collecting these things for a new sculpture called the Classical Mind, which is based on Aristotle's idea of the Scala Naturae, this great chain of being, this notion that all things are arranged by hierarchy from the things that are the least important or have the least amount of soul to the things that have the most important. The Classical Mind is this hierarchical sense which places humans on the top of the kingdom of life, and it is an idea that takes shape in the classical world but has repercussions right to today. And this notion of hierarchy, this notion of some things being better than others, this notion of humans on top is one of the most poisonous and pernicious and long-lasting ideas in the history of Western thought, and is the justification of all sorts of rankings and taxonomies and modes of oppression. So you start at the bottom of the ladder and you work your way up, or in some cases a staircase. So there's a very interesting illustration from the 19th century that depicts this as a staircase with crystals at the bottom and humans on the top. And so that's what I'm doing, is taking these ideas and pouring it into this staircase as a sculptural form. And then you're able to actually enter the staircase, kind of go under the stairs into a small star chamber. You know, it's a little bit like a closet where one is gazing at the universe. Each step has different specimens. So we start with inanimate objects, and then we go to minerals, and then we go to fungi, and then we go to plants. So I'm working on the plants right now, and then we go to the plant-like animals like corals and things like that. These are some plants that have had a bacterial infection, and this bacteria caused them to morph. So their stems splayed out wide. The piece itself is a kind of catalog about how we, or almost an encyclopedia of how we protect, preserve, and display the natural world. So that's really the kind of effect. Something that's very familiar suddenly becomes kind of extraordinary when it gains the status of being a specimen. This is the sort of landscape of my childhood, even though this isn't exactly the beach that I spent time on. This is the environment I'm very familiar with, and when we used to go to the beach, there's one side that's the sandy beach and the other side is the salt marsh, and the car door would empty and most of the kids would go to the sandy beach, and my brother and I would go to the salt marsh and wade in up to our waists with our eel spears and spend the entire day exploring. So, that activity very much set a template for me that I'm still kind of following today.